Well, this is the ground bed on the south side of our studio gardens, and we left it idle, so to speak, from vegetables, but we really planted a lot of crops in it, which we call green manure cover crops. Now, we put some winter cover crops in the same bed, but because we're leaving it idle, we planted some summer ones as well, and I'd like to show you a few of those. This first block here is mung bean, and it is a legume. It adds a little bit of nitrogen back to the soil. We've planted it very thickly to try to help keep some of the grass weeded out. But right before it starts to flower and put on the seed pod, we'll mow it down and till it up. So it has about 2 more weeks before we'll get the good benefits out of it. The next block here is another legume, which a lot of us are familiar with, and it's cowpea. It's similar to our peas and beans. Again, it's got a lot of good thick foliage to help shade out the weeds, but again, we'll mow it, till it in, and try to get those benefits out of it. Now, the next cover crop I want to show you is one that we're not too familiar with, and this particular one is called buckwheat, and it's got a lot of interesting flowers on it. You can see we've got some white flowers, and really they're not that showy, but it has a little cluster of flowers. It attracts a lot of insects, but again, it's one of the cover crops that we're using, and it won't be but another week probably before we'll till this one under, because we don't want it to go to seed on us, and that's really the key to the success in cover crops. Now, the last one I want to show you is Sudangrass, and this is our tallest one, kind of similar to corn in a way, but we've let it get about 4 feet tall, and what we've done is Alan's come in and mowed it off, and then we'll rake some of the excess back into the area. Now, it might sucker out again. If it does, we'll let it grow a little bit more, but eventually we'll till this under, but we'll let it dry a little bit before we till it under. And you really don't want to let it get too much taller because it'll get too woody on you. And we planted it very thick so we wouldn't get a lot of thick stems that would need to be shred up a little bit more. And I want to point out the other end there is a little bit shorter than this side, and that's because of the hackberry tree that has a tendency to shade out this side of our garden anyway, and that is something you want to keep in mind, and it's very obvious to see the height in the Sudangrass, and that's why you need that garden in full sun. Now I'd like to walk over and show you some squash. We've got different types of squash here, and this first plant is on our raised bed with the plastic, but you'll notice it's starting to wilt, and that's because down at the base we've got holes in it with sap oozing out, and that's from a squash vine borer. And that can be a severe problem that you'll lose your plant, and usually a drench with malathion, if you've got a problem with this, usually when it's a smaller plant you need to drench and spray the plant and really keep it under control because we'll lose this plant. And of course we need to start checking for squash bug and all the other insects. We had this one shaded and it helped out for a while, but now it's exposed to all the insects. And a lot of people have noticed our zucchini over here with a little silvery color, thinking that's powdery mildew, and really that's just characteristic of the plant. But it won't be too long before we will start getting some powdery mildew as well. Well, that's all the time we've got today. I'm Steve Dobbs, and I'd like to invite you back next week here on Oklahoma Gardening.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.